So when I was dead, I was super competitive in all my sports. I went to college on a sports scholarship. I wanted to be at the top of the list of everything. I wanted to be, that person and that name that everybody knows. As long as my life revolved around that, I was fine. But my competitiveness had taken me to some pretty crazy extreme actions. There was a golf tournament and I hit a bad shot. And instead of just blowing it off and just keep going, I got upset and I grabbed my club and tomahawked it into the ground, and I was pissed off and I was throwing clubs and I was so angry. And instead of just letting that shot go, I carried all of that anger and was throwing clubs through like 4 different holes after that. And had I not blown up on that shot, I could have, easily just picked myself up, turned it around and kept going. But instead I carried every bit of that anger over one shot, throughout 5 or 6 different holes. And it got to me. I wanted approval of everybody, and so, I made choices as far as, acting a certain way or trying to be somebody I wasn't, or, doing things for the approval of others. And it didn't really get me where I wanted to be, and I was constantly, searching for, who I was, constantly searching for something more. I went on a service mission trip to Costa Rica. Said a week from school, sports from kids. Why not? Of course, I'm in. Count me in. I just told myself, for the trip, go there, be you, and just experience everything it has to offer. The devotions that we had every morning just hit home. How tired and worn out I was trying to figure out who I was instead of just being me. There was a testimony shared. The lady was talking about how she had gotten caught up in, her own little world that she holds in her hands, and it's, in our eyes, it seems bigger than anything else. But in God's eyes, it's about this big, it doesn't matter. And she was talking about how she was caught up in possessions and, that bigger and better kind of lifestyle, and how it ended up not being enough for her. And for me to realize that I was on that path to being worried about nothing but my own little world, I didn't want it. It made me realize that all these things that I was trying to do was just for the satisfaction of others. After that testimony, I was trying to write my journal. I was trying to, write some stuff down, but the only thing I could do was cry. At that moment, hearing the testimony, I completely realized where I was at, where I was headed, and that is not where I wanted to be. That moment was the moment that I decided to throw fear and insecurity out the window and to live a life without fear, because there's only one opinion and one person's approval that really matters. And that moment was probably the best moment of my life. I am Kamie, and I am alive.